Okay, I am very late posting today. Sorry, I had a crazy day, a very long day at the doctor with my son. But episode today, insane. If you are watching this and you have not yet read the lawsuit, it is a 70-page lawsuit, and it is, I promise you, worth the read, that was filed against Diddy. I know him as Diddy. You might remember him as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. He's had many names, but I am telling you, this is as big or bigger than the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. And there is now no question that there is some sort of a gang that is running both our politicians and all of Hollywood. So obviously I go through the entire lawsuit on my podcast. Well, I just go through the parts I think that you should really remember. But case in point, essentially, what we understand is just very similar to what was happening in the Jeffrey Epstein situation. You know, Diddy was the Jeffrey Epstein of Hollywood, essentially getting blackmail on people in the industry who work under him, allegedly. Drug-fueled parties. This lawsuit was filed with pictures, and they claim to have video evidence of everything that's being asserted, that essentially they're drugging men and drugging women, getting them to engage in sex acts, and then they own these people, essentially, because they have blackmail, which is crazy, because so many of us have wondered, and I don't know how many times we are going to be told what is happening when our politicians go to DC and seemingly forget that they're supposed to be representing the people. Who are they serving? It's obviously not the American people. When Lindsey Graham dances around and demands another war and says bomb Iran, it's very obvious to me that the elites have already decided that they want to go to war with Iran. So why is he saying it? Well, there has been a lot of evidence that Lindsey Graham is a homosexual man. If he is, I would imagine it was not that difficult to procure blackmail on him. Looking at this Diddy website, looking at this Diddy lawsuit and reading this and understanding that these producers are even being told that they can give them Grammys, which means it's an entire cabal that is operating in Hollywood. If you do this homosexual act, I can get you producer of the year, is what this lawsuit is alleging. That the person that sits on the top of this ring, or at least in terms of Diddy, is a man known as Lucian Grange, which is interesting because his family also worked very closely with the Beatles, and then he changed his name from what it was in London, and now he goes by Sir Lucian Grange. And allegedly him and Diddy were locked in a room for hours together whenever he would come visit. He is the CEO of Universal Music Group. But the scariest part of the lawsuit, and you guys have to listen to this because this is something that Americans need to wake up to, is that the producer is alleging that he shot someone in broad daylight, referring to Diddy. Like, Diddy and his son got into an argument, the producer was sitting in the bathroom, and he shot someone, and everyone then gathered around the body, and there was a guy that you're supposed to call, and he can get it all cleaned up. So you can literally murder someone if you need to, and you call this number, and the LAPD will basically just write a fake police report. And they did. So the producer has the evidence. He's got, like I said, tons of pictures showing that everything that he's saying is true. And it's got blood all over the toilet seat, blood inside where he says that Diddy shot the person before somebody called the ambulance. And yet then he shows you that when the media reports the incident, the media says that there was a shooting outside, a drive-by shooting, and they don't know who it was. So that means that the media is working in lockstep with, presumably, by the way, you have to presume the FBI, our intelligence agencies, are in on this. If the LAPD is getting rid of all of this evidence, if Diddy murders someone and they just make it go away, the only person that could make that go away would be the authorities. So the implications there are that the journalists, our intelligence agencies, and virtually all of Hollywood is in on this, that it's a blackmail ring that's operating. And it's really interesting because there is this comedian named Cat Williams, and he recently went on Joe Rogan and he was talking about this, basically saying that people need to wake up to the fact that entertainment is not, you might find it entertaining. Again, he's somebody that's on the inside, but it is meant to brainwash you. Hollywood is a psychological operation. It is the most severe form of psychological conditioning that exists today outside of the public school system. It is meant to train you how to think, not to teach you to think independently, but to make you think that something is cool or aspirational. It's supposed to make you love materialism, to envy their wealth. We wonder why it is that Hollywood is so forgiving when people are clearly perverted in Hollywood. Like, Woody Allen accused of raping his child when he was 7 years old. Hollywood doesn't care. He's allowed to make movies. Roman Polanski admitted to raping someone. Hollywood doesn't care, allowed to make movies. Well, all of that now makes sense when you put it into the context of a blackmail ring. They would encourage homosexuality because it's an easy way for them to be able to procure blackmail. Very severe stuff, guys, and I'm looking at your comments and everyone is saying that you're not safe. Yes, I'm very aware that even talking about this, like the fact that the media is just crickets on this, should let you know that it is very plausible that media members as well are being blackmailed, right? So they are being blackmailed into submission to write whatever articles, whatever the theme is. And yes, this group clearly has a lot of power if they are running both DC and running Hollywood as well. It is functioning like a gang. America is not an independent country is what it signals to me. We've been wondering why these weird agendas are coming down the pipeline, because they are collapsing us from within. I don't know, like I am just like processing this information and going through this lawsuit and seeing this a second time and seeing the media again try to look past it. We have to be awake. We need to be vigilant. There also seems to be a strange attack on Christianity everywhere, which I find to be really interesting, and it makes sense. They worship the devil. I mean, there's no other way to say it. These people quite literally worship the devil, and they are participating in every ill. Pedophilia is the main thing, because once you can get someone on camera having sex with a child or someone that's underage, you own them. You own them. So we need to make sure, guys, and I'm sorry to rant about this, and please watch the episode, but we need to raise our children to want nothing to do with Hollywood. Nothing to do with it. Hollywood is not for our entertainment. Again, it is to warp our minds. That is a takeaway. And yes, every person that talks about this is endangered. There's no question about it. But to me personally, the truth matters more, because irrespective of what happens to me, my 3 kids have to grow up in this society. And if we don't start telling the truth about what we know is going on, there's no chance for them. So anyways, enjoy the episode. Yes, I'm glad to hear people, praising God in the comments and praying every single day, because it is the forces of good versus evil right now. Something very sinister is going on, and there's no way that you can deny it after reading that lawsuit. Link obviously is here. I'll also post it below. Thank you guys, and I will always speak out. Always.